Okay, so now I just finished rereading One for the Road. Not only had I read it before, but I did this readathon vlog a few months ago. I recorded everything, and then all these videos and this editing got stalled because I started doing these Chapelwaite reactions. In fact, I have Jenny Raymond on my phone right now trying to crash in on a discussion on Facebook Messenger while I'm recording this. And I did not realize until I went to edit this night shift vlog that I thought I had this beautiful view of a fountain in City Hall Park in downtown New York City, and then you couldn't hear of what I was saying because the fountain was so loud. So I just reread One for the Road, and I want to give you guys my thoughts on it. Of course, this is not an instant uh, thought because after Chapelwaite, One for the Road, and Salem's Lot and Jerusalem's Lot have been on my mind hardcore. I'm getting ahead of myself, which I seem to do very often in these vlogs. One for the Road takes place 2 years after the events of Salem's Lot. So far we have starting the book, Jerusalem's Lot, which was I guess you could say, prequel of the novel Salem's Lot. It's not really a prequel. It doesn't have a lot to do with the vampires. Check out that video for of the Night Shift Reading Vlog 1 for that. More information on that and any of my Chapelwaite videos. We talk about that a lot. But One for the Road is a more direct tie-in to the novel Salem's Lot. It's 2 years later. We're in a small town a little ways away from Salem's Lot, and this guy on a blizzardy night, we're at Tuki's bar, and Booth are these two kind of old Mainers. This is a convention that Stephen King likes to use a lot. We also saw it in Gray Matter, right? Just the old men hanging out at the local haunt, having their drinks, maybe chilling with each other, and then something happens. Uh, so we get this man, this stupid guy from New Jersey. I love it. There's this line about his car in New Jersey. I'll put the quote up for you. Um, he's on a trip with his family to go see his wife's sister, which we know if you read Salem's Lot, small towns just disappear, and the people who moved into Salem's Lot or drive through Salem's Lot don't usually show up again, and no one really finds them or knows why. So this guy in this total blizzard turns down Jointner Avenue to get to the highway, which his directions tell him to do.
That main street, known originally as the Portland Post Road, had been named after Elias Jointner in 1896. Jointner, House of the Representatives for 6 years up until his death, which was caused by syphilis at the age of 58.
And they turn into a street that has not been plowed, and the car gets stuck. So he trudges 6 miles back. He's frostbitten. He faints when he walks into this bar, shouting for help. They have to, I imagine, those movies where they put brandy in someone's mouth and they is kind of how it's described. And the narration in this is wonderful. We're hearing it from Booth's point of view, one of these old men. So all of the semantics, the writing style is very old Mainer, and their ideals and thoughts. As this man stumbles in, and why the did you leave your kids in a car in this town that no one ever talks about? But when we do, we shy away from saying the word vampires, because 2 years ago the lot just went quiet, and we all wear crosses even if we're not Catholic, just to protect ourselves. It's just what we do now. And here comes this crazy guy asking for help, and of course they decide to help him. They get on a little snowmobile, tractor, whatever, and go to find his family, which he had left in the car that has a heater. And luckily, when they get there, the car is still running. It hasn't run out of gas, so the heater is on. But the door is open, and his little girl's jacket, poncho, is still in the car. So she's out walking around, and we don't understand why. Until we see his wife and his daughter and the red glow in their eyes, and we know that some up with vampires in Salem's Lot has happened. But wait a minute, you may remember, at the end of the novel Salem's Lot, they came and burned down the town, right? They got rid of all those vampires. Well, Stephen King addresses that. He talks about I'm gonna find the exact quote and put it up, but he talks about how a fire burned the town out and it was quiet for a while, but then disappearances started again. So the continuation of the story is fully within keeping of the lore and the canon, whatever word you want to use. I think that this is beautifully written. The imagery, you feel like you are there in this small bar with these two men who are there alone, and then you feel the imminent danger as you approach the family and the car and the wonder of what's going on, especially if you know Salem's Lot. If you haven't read Salem's Lot, the story stands on its own. It gives you all the information you need to know, but I think knowing the novel, The Story of Salem's Lot, just enhances that fear and that feeling of what's gonna happen. Stephen King is a master of suspense, and this story, albeit short, delivers plentifully. I think that it's one of my favorites in the whole book, and there is a short film about it that I found. I don't know the quality of it, but I am really, really excited to see it. And I saw another trailer for a short film that I think is in the making that I would love to see because the trailer looked fantastic. So we're going to get to that when it comes to the movie vlogs, whichever one I'm able to find. One for the road, guys. It's classic Stephen King. We're seeing the seeds, right, of him creating this expanded universe. So if you don't know, there are tie-ins in a lot of Stephen King stories. Like we've already read The Shining, and Dick Hallorann is supposed to come back in It. And then you also have Father Callahan from Salem's Lot, who I have never read this series, by the way, and I'm so excited to get there, but I know that he shows back up in the Dark Tower series and has a huge role. And knowing what happened to him in Salem's Lot, again, I don't want to give spoilers away. If you've read the novel and you want my thoughts, check out the Salem's Lot video. It is a fate worse than death that Father Callahan suffers, and I can't wait to see where it took him. Because he's one of my favorite characters in every of all the Stephen King that I've read in my life, and played by James Cromwell, who I love in the 2004 miniseries, and I just found out that it's going to be played by oh my God, why did I just lose his name? John Benjamin Hickey. One of my favorites. I've known him since he was on Broadway in Love, Valor, Compassion and the revival of Cabaret. You might know him as Anna Kendrick's father in Pitch Perfect. In the new upcoming adaptation that's being made right now of Salem's Lot, he has been signed on to play Father Callahan. So I cannot wait. So that's me going on a little tangent about Father Callahan and how much I love him as a character, and I can't wait to see what happens. What I was trying to get at was this interconnected universe that Stephen King has created. Even Billy Summers, his newest book that just came out, I have a review on that, just not one of my in-depth literary analyses, but more of just a basic review. And at one point they go to Sidewinder and note the burned down location that used to be the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. So what we're seeing here is Salem's Lot, a novel that Stephen King, from what I understand, wrote before Carrie, but was published after as his second novel. And then all of these short stories in not Jerusalem's Lot, in Night Shift, were written for these men's magazines and were published in things like Cavalier and Penthouse through the 60s before he kind of became famous with Carrie. Oh my God, it's snowing. For Snow of the Year, everyone.
Squirrel!
What we're seeing are the seeds of him going back, and the only two stories that were not previously published before Night Shift anywhere were Jerusalem's Lot and One for the Road. So we're seeing that he's using location, that he's to an extent using characters to create this extended universe that's just going to keep growing as we move forward in his canon. So I'm really excited about this. And One for the Road, guys, just for the sheer fun of it, when you know Salem's Lot, probably my personal favorite story. Followed very closely by Battleground, and there's some others that I think are wonderful just for how they're written, but you've been paying attention with the vlogs, and if you haven't, why not? You should go back and watch all the vlogs and hear my thoughts. There's only one more story left in Night Shift, The Woman in the Room. And I talk about this a little more in my reading vlog for that, because this is a reread and I've already made these vlogs. I know what I'm going to say because I already said it. I talk a little bit in there about how it's the right choice for the end of the novel, or the end of the collection. It's just such a strong story, and it's so personal to Stephen King, coming from a place of sadness and grief, dealing with his mother's dying of cancer. But it ultimately, I feel that this collection would have been better suited to bookend the Salem's Lot stories, right? We started with Jerusalem's Lot. It felt like we were ending with One for the Road, and then, oops, there's just one more story, which we're going to get into now. Okay, yeah, so I read The Woman in the Room, which is the last story in Night Shift. We're going to be moving on to The Long Walk next. We're back to novels, but we're skipping The Stand because we're going to go back and do The Stand with the release of the extended version in the 90s. Okay, I'm about to ruin this entire story, spoil all of it for you, but it will not affect your enjoyment of the story. I'm telling you, the way it's written, you will get something out of it. The gist of this whole thing is the opening and closing lines. It starts with, the question was, can he do it? And it ends with, he went home and waited for the phone to ring and wished he had given her another kiss. Holy shit. Maybe it's just because I'm dealing with an ailing parent myself, or another parent that just passed. This story was... Okay, so I said in my last vlog about One for the Road that the book ends of Jerusalem's Lot and One for the Road would be perfect, and I didn't know why he wrote another story into Night Shift before it ended. Excuse me, that's not your microphone wire, Cat. No, this was the right call. Putting this last was the right call, because we, as so many of King's stories deal with, we're talking about death and our reaction to death and the mortality and the knowledge of our own mortality. He talks about that a lot in his speeches and his interviews about why do you do this. I think it's a way of exercising those conflicts and fears we have about our own death and mortality. And this takes it head on. It's an adult son, still not yours. It's an adult son who is dealing... That's not yours. See, look at this. This is not yours, Cat. He's dealing with his mother, who's had stomach cancer. It has metastasized and gone everywhere. And there's these soft pills, gel capsules rather than pills, that she might be able to gum down since they've taken her dentures away from her out of fear of... The doctor went and exploded her brain. Is the point is, we can't cure the cancer, but we can make her more comfortable. So they went in like an orange through the ear and plucked a seed out, I think is the analogy, when what they really did was zap the pain center of her brain so she wouldn't feel pain. And it took away a lot of other functions as well. So she's basically paralyzed. Her quality of life is not good. She's asking to go. So what do you do? And every conflict, from the moral struggle of taking a life to helping someone and a soul find peace and rest at the end of their life, to the legal implication. Will I be found out? Will it be murder? Right? Because assisted suicide is not a legal thing. So I think that saving this for the end, it's a nice cap on the end of a collection of stories that make us face mortality. How many stories did we have where we kind of were up on the ledge, right? Either literally the story of the ledge, or the barn in The Last Rung from the Ladder. We had the rats facing us in Graveyard Shift. We had terrible worms that are centuries-old evil in Jerusalem's Lot. Everything is metaphor for a fear. And it all boils down to death. So, bravo, way to end Night Shift on a solid piece. Yeah, so those are my thoughts. I think I'm going to do one more little vlog where I wrap up all of Night Shift. I'm going to organize some thoughts, maybe do something a little bit more structured for that. And based on when I post this, we have some more adaptations to go through. I think we will have at least one or two left to do, and then we are on The Long Walk, which is one of my favorite King books of all time, and it wasn't even written as Stephen King. It's under the name Richard Bachman. It's his second published Bachman book after Rage. All right, so see you guys then.